If you're in need of an Office or Windows 10 key that doesn't break the bank, cdkdeals.com has the best deals with awesome discount for everyone who's watching this video. Just head over their website in the link in the description below and search for Windows 10 and click buy. But before you submit order, enter code MAC20 for a 20% off of your total order, meaning you can have a legit Windows 10 Pro key for only $16. After paying, you'll instantly receive your Windows 10 Pro key. Or if you want to check your orders, just go to their user center and choose purchase orders. Now all you have to do next is install Windows in your newly built PC and use your new Windows 10 Pro key for activation. And by the way, they also offer game keys for Steam, Origin, Uplay, and as well as antivirus software if you're in need of that. For more information, just visit cdkdeals.com, links in the description below. So this is my old PC case and we'll be upgrading with this new case. My rig is an Intel i5-4460 with MSI R9 390. That's what I'm currently using right now. Though it's still working, but it's already showing its age, and I think we could all agree that it's time for me to upgrade. However, as I've been going around and checking every local store around my area, I can't find any PC parts that I wanted. And all I got for now is this PC case that I've been eyeing ever since it was announced in CES 2020. So this is the O11 Dynamic Mini, and let me tell you why I really wanted this chassis. Let's check out its physical overview, features, and more. Everything you need to know coming up. Hey, what's up guys, it's Mac here and welcome to episode 1 of the path to my next PC upgrade, wherein I will show you how I will upgrade my PC in the year 2021, since by this time it's really difficult to find the best PC parts. With that said, let's take a look what I have in hand, the O11 Dynamic Mini. So first, let's check out what's in the box. Obviously, the chassis itself, the manual, 3 types of water pump bracket, 1 piece of motherboard extension bracket, 2 pieces of slot cover, and 5 pieces of zip ties. As for the screws, this might be too much information for you, but some might be interested. We have 17 pieces of screws for motherboard and SSD, 3 pieces of standoffs, 6 pieces of screws for your SFX power supply, 8 pieces of anti-vibration rings for your SSD, 12 pieces of screws for your hard drives, 4 pieces of screws for your motherboard extension bracket, 8 pieces of thumb screws for your water pump bracket, 16 pieces of screws for your fan mounting, 1 piece of tool standoff bolt, and lastly the 4 pieces screws for your water pump bracket. Before we take a look at the physical overview, let me just remind each one of you that we're not going to build anything in this chassis for now, since I don't have the PC parts yet. Anyway, let's move on. So checking out the physical overview, the obvious ones here are the 2 tempered glass in front and on the side, which are mounted by this little mounting mechanism over here. It looks small, but it is very sturdy. On the top and on the other side panel is the aluminum, and it feels very sharp in the edges, but nothing too dangerous in my opinion. The aluminum panels have ventilation holes, wherein I think these holes are too small, but most reviews doesn't have any issues in thermal, so no complaints to that. On this side panel, it has 2 sets of ventilation holes as well as dust filters. Over here at this part, it's made out of metal, and I think its sole purpose is just to hold these magnetic dust filters. Speaking of more dust filters, we have one at the top and one at the bottom with quick release mount. I really appreciate this design since there's always an easy access whenever you just wanted to clean that. And we got plenty of elevation here with 4 rubbers underneath to keep the chassis in place. Now for the front panel I/O, we have the power button, which has a very satisfying feel when pressing. No reset button available. Just in case you don't know, there is no reset button for this chassis. There's also a single 3.5mm jack input, wherein you can use it for your audio and mic as well. So if you have a headset with TRRS jack, this will work with audio and mic. though TRS will also work for audio only. Well, this is according to the manual, so unless I build something in here, we can't really test it out. So I guess you'll have to subscribe and wait for the next episode until I'll be able to finish this build in this chassis. So moving on, we also have a 2 USB 3.0 and a Type-C USB, which is what I'm really looking for in a case, since I'm planning to purchase a VR headset very soon. Now let's check out the internals, shall we? Opening the back of the case, as you can see, it is very spacious, and I bet the cable management will be a breeze. Though the only compromise here is that you can only use SFX power supply. So normal size power supply are a no-go for this case. There are also 2 toolless drive caddies for hard drives, and this is also removable just in case you are not going to use it. There's also 2 mounting points for your SSDs over here. There are also 2 rubber grommets on this side, which is greatly appreciated, but no grommets at the top, though the holes for the CPU power going to the motherboard is not really that sharp, so I guess it's okay. Now let's check out the main chamber. For the fans, you can fit up to 9 120mm fans as usual. 3 intakes at the bottom, 2 intakes on the side, and 3 exhaust fans on the top, and of course 1 at the rear, 1 exhaust rather. So you can put up to 360mm radiator on the top and bottom, though it is not advisable, and 280mm radiator on the side mount. If you're going for custom water cooling, you can also use these brackets for your pump. 1 flat, 1 elevated, and you can also put it on the top of the radiator. For the motherboard layout, you can actually mount a mini ITX, micro ATX, or a full ATX motherboards, wherein you'll be needing this motherboard extension bracket if you are going for that route. This is what I love about this chassis. There's a wide variety of choices that you can fill it up with. And what's amazing about this is the modularity of the cover case, I mean the rear cover case. So depending on your motherboard and your setup, you can actually move this around accordingly. So this is how it looks for your ITX. Now this is how it looks for your MATX setup, and this is the default standard full ATX setup. One thing worth mentioning is that there's also a GPU vertical mount bracket for this case, but unfortunately it is sold separately. Of course, if you're into that, you can purchase it anytime. Just check out the link in the description below for more information. So guys, if you wanted this chassis for your next build, again, just check out the link in the description below as well. So right now I'm torn between which motherboard should I purchase. I can go for a full ATX or MATX motherboard. ITX motherboards are too expensive, so that's out of the choice for me, and I think I will be wasting the space of the O11 Mini if ever I will go for an ITX motherboard. If I'll be going for an MATX motherboard, I'll be able to put a 360mm radiator on the top or on the bottom, but bottom radiator is not really advisable, so that's a no-go for me. But if I will use a full ATX motherboard, the only choice that I have is 240 or 280mm radiator on the side. So what do you think, guys? Let me know your suggestions in the comment section below. Well, I hope you guys can join me again in the next episode, because I'll still be looking for the other PC parts that I wanted in different local stores again, or if possible in an online store as well, so that I'll be able to finish this PC of mine very soon. So that's it, guys. This is Mac, and I hope you found this video interesting. If it does, make sure you give us a thumbs up and share it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.